The big game goes up. No doubt.
According to Christopher Hartby in an article titled Youth Under Age 18 in the Adult Criminal Justice System in 2006, youth that are held in adult facilities are more likely to reoffend and end up back in jail. This is just one reason why we as a country need to take into serious consideration how our judicial system runs and who we are trying as adults. By the end of today's presentation, I will prove that adolescents should not be tried as adults in criminal court. Today I will cover the following. The United States recognizes a difference between adolescents and adults. Their frontal lobes are not fully developed, and that passing tougher laws and sentencing adolescents as adults is not effective in reducing offending or recidivism. We as a country recognize that adolescents are not yet adults. We set laws and limits on what they can do and how old they need to be to perform certain tasks. You can't gamble, buy cigarettes, vote, enlist in the army, or sign a legal contract till you're 18. You can't consume or drink alcohol till you're 21. So why, if adolescents can't do these things until they're 18 or 21? Because we recognize as a country that adolescents are not responsible enough to do these tasks. One of the reasons we base this on is because their frontal lobes aren't developed, something I will discuss later on in this argument. So if we don't allow adolescents to do all these things, why do we still try them as adults in court? Now that I have shown that we as a country recognize a difference between adolescents and adults, I will explain the lack of frontal lobe development in adolescents. But what is the frontal lobe responsible for? Why does it matter? According to the Center for Neuroskills in an article titled Frontal Lobes, updated in 2012, quote, the frontal lobes are involved in motor function, problem solving, spontaneity, memory, language, initiation, judgment control, impulse control, and social and sexual behavior, end quote. These are all functions that are very important for being a contributing member of society. According to Johnson, Blum, and Gee, in Adolescent Maturity and the Brain, the Promise and Pitfalls of Neuroscience Research, published in 2009, the adolescent brain is still changing, particularly in the frontal lobe, until your 20s and 30s. They also found that there are heightened behavior changes and increased novelty-seeking, risk behavior, and a heightened social affiliation towards their peers. These behaviors under stressful conditions could and do lead to very poor outcomes. Now that you have a better understanding of frontal lobe development, I will discuss the effectiveness of passing laws and implementing tougher sentences. According to the U.S. Department of Justice in trying juveniles as adults, an analysis of state transfer law and reporting published in 2011, juveniles that go through the adult court system tend to have higher recidivism rates than adolescents who do not. This makes sense due to the impressionable nature of children being housed with experienced criminals. It only teaches them to be better criminals. According to Frontline and Juvenile Justice, retrieved on January 3, 2015, passing harsher laws for punishing adolescents does not have a deterring effect, which may be due to the lack of foresight or ability to weigh the consequences of other action. But either way, why would we keep investing our time and money into something that is proven not to be effective? Why as a country do we keep using them rather than looking for better ways and alternatives to rather punish them rather than make them better citizens? Now that I have shown the meager effects of harsher laws and punishment for adolescents, we will review this argument. In this argument, I have shown that the United States sees adolescents as different than adults, and their frontal lobe inhibits their decision-making, and that passing laws that give harsher punishments to juveniles is ineffective. In this presentation, I have shown that adolescents are not adults and thus should not be tried as adults for their crimes in court. Do we as a country want to continue sending underdeveloped adolescents to jail with hardened criminals for things that may not have been able to grasp the consequences of?